Hello folks, now the FCA is the Financial Conduct Authority. They're responsible in the UK for regulating things like the insurance industry, financial services, banking, etc. And they've been around since 2013. Now recently they've focused their attention on things like gap insurance. And the reason that they've done that is because gap insurance is often sold at hugely inflated prices by car dealerships. Now let's say a gap insurance product has a cost price of 80 to 100 quid. I'm pulling that number completely out of the air. There are loads of different types of gap insurance, so we're talking very generally and broadly here. And then let's say you buy that from an online gap insurance broker and they charge you 150, 160, 170 quid for it, 200 quid for it. A car dealership may try and charge you anything between 500 and 1500 for that same product, or for a very similar version of that product. And essentially that big extra chunk of money is going to them in commission. Now the FCA warned insurers that they weren't happy with this and they needed to do what they could to improve things. But it's very difficult for the insurer to actually control how much is being charged by the end retailer, by the car dealership, for example. They can do what they can to influence it, but only to a degree. Now, there's some more regulation around the whole supply and distribution chain that I won't go into because it's just simply too dull. But effectively, the FCA has suspended 9 insurers from selling gap insurance products. And those 9 insurers supply most of the gap insurance market. There may still be 1 or 2 insurers out there still able to offer gap insurance, but the vast majority cannot right now. And that means someone who is an online broker and offers good value products to their customers can no longer sell because the insurer they used was also backing a dealership product of some kind. Now, the knock-on effect of the FCA suspending these insurers is that you no longer have so much choice in where to buy your gap insurance. It may mean you find it difficult to buy gap insurance at all right now. And instead of the most simple approach to this, which would have been actually you can no longer charge more than X amount of commission, either in a percentage term or a some pound note round figure, that would have dealt with it. But instead, they've actually suspended these insurers from selling that particular product. And it could mean that you're leasing a new car today or buying a car tomorrow and you want gap insurance and you can't get it, or you can't get it at as good a price as you could before. Or you don't have access to that product and that product that were actually far better and gave you better coverage and a better price than this one over here that is still available. I think this is disgraceful. Obviously, some people shop around for these products. Some people shop around for their car finance. Others go into a car dealership quite happy to be paying through the nose, and they'll pay top dollar for all these products for the convenience side of things. Now, personally, I think car dealership groups have big compliance problems outside of this. Things like the fact that if you go in and try pay cash for one, they'll make you sit through a car finance presentation. As far as I'm aware, that's completely uncompliant, and that's the kind of thing the FCA should be cracking down on first. Secondly, I don't think it's right that they should be charging people the earth for these products, but a lot of people are happy to pay for them. They like the convenience of it. They know they're probably getting ripped off a bit, but still they decide to sign on the dotted line and go for it. Your money, your business at the end of the day. You know, I shop around for my utilities, I shop around for my insurance, I shop around for all these things every year. Lots of people don't, and they just can't be bothered and they choose not to. They could be saving a few quid, but they either can't be doing with the hassle or they've got loads of money and they don't really care. But whatever, it's their choice. I don't think anyone walks into a car dealership thinking they're going to get an amazing deal on these add-on products, on car finance or anything like that. And I'm sure most people know that they could often do better by doing a bit of shopping around, but lots of them simply choose not to. What the FCA has basically done here is said that you as a consumer are not able to make up your own mind. You shouldn't be trusted making a choice of your own. They've essentially taken away your freedom to buy what you want from where you want. And they've also, at least temporarily, kind of destroyed the businesses of online sellers of gap insurance that sell products at a really good price and offer a fantastic service. Obviously, one of those was a sponsor on my channel, and I certainly hope they return as a sponsor on my channel at some point, because God knows I need them. But of course, I can't speak too specifically about that one company because They're FCA authorised and regulated, and they might not want me to. But they have made a statement on their website, and I'm just looking here, there are several other online gap insurance sites where they've made similar statements. What they're all essentially saying is, why tar us all with the same brush? We're not ripping off our customers. We've given our customers good value. And the easiest way to deal with this is simply to cap the amount of commission people can take. Now, maybe a car dealership can justify a higher level of commission because they've got all their premises to pay for. They've got that sharp suited man with a dodgy haircut to come and serve you. All these things cost money that online retailers don't have. But the online retailers also have huge compliance expenses. It's not easy to be FCA regulated and authorised. It costs a lot of money every year. The amount of man hours that need to go into, fulfilling everything that the regulator requires, it requires a level of expertise and an amount of time that is very, very costly. And you can ask any insurance brokers, one of their main expenses is dealing with compliance. Now, I've spoken in other videos about the FCA's fair pricing practice when it comes to insurance, and all they effectively did was make it impossible for insurers to give you a new business discount. Insurers historically would give you a cheap price in the first year and then put the premium up in year 2 and year 3, etc. They can't do that anymore. They've got to offer you one price whether you're new business or renewal customer. Now, for people that shop around every year, they're always getting a fantastic deal. For people that were loyal, they would sometimes pay more for being loyal. And you could say, well, that's completely wrong. But if they chose not to do the work and to stay with the same insurer forever, they'd be paying a bit more every year. By shopping around, you could save a bit every year. I think the FCA's approach to all these kind of things, which they're doing in the name of consumer protection, is actually the opposite. I think they're costing the consumer money. Instead of having guidelines for things, they need to start giving companies clear rules. And if they truly want to look after the consumer, make the market as competitive as possible, not the opposite. I was previously the head of an insurer in London where we had 31 staff, 32 staff. And just the fair pricing piece alone from the FCA would have completely wiped out our margin. Margin that's really tough to get. We did household insurance. It's really tough to get margin as an insurer in household insurance. And it would have completely wiped it out and actually put us in the red every year just to remain compliant. Now, it was a Spanish company. Brexit happened. Loads and loads of expense around that and all the expense coming with this. And they simply said, we're pulling out of the UK. And that was the end of that. All 32 people lost their jobs, including yours truly. And our 100,000 or so policyholders all had to go somewhere else at renewal, probably paying a bit more and possibly not having such specialist cover in some of the areas that we offer cover. Do I think a car dealership should be able to take 300 or 400% commission when they're selling a product like gap insurance? No, absolutely not. I think it's disgraceful. But do I think simply making that product unavailable is the way forward? No, it's ridiculous. You could go and buy a new car tomorrow, write it off next week, and you're 10 grand in the hole. You could have paid 300 quid to protect yourself. And at the moment, that's a lot more difficult than it was a week ago. Personally, I think the FCA should respect your rights as a consumer to buy what you want from where you want to buy it, but to put rules in place so that if they're worried about customers getting ripped off, it actually prevents the customer from getting ripped off. There's a clear rule in place to how much someone can earn from that particular piece of business. Simply narrowing what's already a fairly niche market does absolutely no consumer any favours whatsoever. Now folks, if you've currently got a gap insurance policy, don't worry, you're not affected by this. This applies to the sale of new products from, I think, the 12th of February 2024. So you won't be able to buy a new gap insurance from 9 different insurance providers, and those 9 sit behind countless car dealerships and online resellers and everything else. So it could be lots and lots of brands affected by this, but it's actually 9 insurers that have had the suspension, also I'm led to believe. But your existing policy is completely unaffected. So if you do have the unfortunate honour of being able to claim on your gap insurance policy, you would still go about making a claim in exactly the same way. It just really means that if you're buying a new or used car in a couple of weeks and you want to get gap insurance, you're going to find it much more difficult and possibly more expensive than you would have done previously. I hope you find that video interesting, useful in some way. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about this. Do you think what the FCA has done is really beneficial to you as a consumer? Or do you think it's sort of big brother tactics and you're not being trusted to make your own decisions as a consumer? It'd be great to hear from you. Please follow me on social media wherever you can, and if you'd like to buy me a coffee or anything like that, then you're a lovely person and there's a link in the video description. I'll catch you on the next one.